Hey, Mark, good to see you. We're going to shoot this out live, and we're going to give a couple of moments for people to join in. Don, good to see you. Marianne, Valerian, we were just asking, would Marianne be here? And you are. It's so good to see everybody. Hi, guys. Do me a favor, write in the chat and let me know that you can see me and that you can hear me okay and everything's working on your end, please. I can see you and hear you. Fantastic. Don, it is so good to see you. Oh, just do some personal shout outs. Amy, good to see you, Amy. It's so funny. We have most of the people on the call are already in our highest level coaching program, and it's so good to see all of you guys. Amy is for sure. Her and her husband are rocking out presentations right now. Ishvan is Don Fleming, and we went on a mission trip together, and Don's someone who's up to making some big differences in the world. Mark is new, friend. Don't know Mark as well. I think Mark has seen some of our ads online, and he's seen some of the stuff we have going on. Mary Ann has been with us for a couple of years, journeying through this thing, and she has really blossomed into someone who's going to be a world changer, which is just so cool. So you guys, welcome. We're going live, and I'm really, really, really excited to share this with you. Give me just one moment. We're about to go live. All right, we're going live. All right, guys, so you can ask me questions as we go, and I am super excited to be here with you guys. And I want to share why I'm excited to be doing this and what excites me about it, especially there's a part of me, because what's going on right now is in Minneapolis, people are really upset. And, we're just coming out of COVID and a lot is going on. So I'm going to talk about something heavy. Then I'm going to start the presentation and talk about something a little bit lighter. So the reason I am excited and grateful to be here with you guys and that I'm happy that we're here is right now there is a whole bunch of upset people out there. Right now there is a lack of leadership causing people to come together. And right now the world needs you. And so I want to start this by addressing the elephant in the room, which is, right now there's a lot of upset and hurting people, and the world needs more good people to step up. And so I was on a Zoom yesterday with a couple of people. We're putting together an event, and we were talking about how the world needs to come together in groups, and groups need leaders to bring them together. And that leader's you. If you're watching this, I think you were made for something great. I think there's a calling on your heart. I think there's something that you want to do, and there's a message you have for the world, or maybe there's a mission you have, and that's what we're about. And that's why I'm so grateful and happy that you're with me. And so what I want to share today is I've been doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes during this time of COVID and Corona, getting things together, putting structures and systems in place to help you make a huge difference in the world and to help your business grow. Because I think when your business grows, it's really simple math, you guys. When you impact people's lives, you make a contribution to their life. Well, now that their life is better, they're going to buy more from you. So you've made an impact. Now you'll make more income. And because you made an impact, you can be more influential in their lives. And because you have more money, you can now influence society more. So because you have impact and income, it leads to influence. And so if you don't like the way the world looks like now, right now, it's up to you to do something about it. And when you learn how to impact lives, when you learn how to raise your income, then you get the influence to change society. And then what happens is, we call it I cubed, it multiplies. When you get more influence in society, then what happens is you get more chances to impact people, and you'll make even more income. And then as you grow your tribe will help people come to you, and they'll be a part of your mission. So impact times income times influence, and then the more influential you get, the more money you make, the more opportunities to impact and influence. So it grows and grows and grows. And that's what we're here about today. What we're really talking about, while I'm going to be talking about speaker coaching, what we're really talking about today is you making a massive difference in the world. What we're really talking about today is you, the person sitting there in your seat, doing your breathing, watching this video, being the person who steps up and does their part to change their corner of the world. That's what today's about. So if I seem happy, it's because I get pumped up presenting. And so my energy naturally comes up, and I'm aware of what's going on in the world. And I'm also aware, like in the COVID thing, I just got off the phone with a client who lives in New Jersey, and her husband, and her 4-year-old all got COVID. Luckily, they got through it healthy and okay. And, it's a real deal. While much of America is coming back to work and they're going back to work, what I know is this: after we get through this time, there's a lot more money to be made. There's a lot more people to be helped. And people are going to want to come together in communities live, and people are going to really keep coming together online. So what I want to share with you is some tools that we can use to do that. So those of you who are on the Zoom with me right now, you guys can ask questions as we go. And I see more and more people are joining. Welcome as you guys that are joined. Kristen Kwan just joined. Hi, good to see you. And those of you watching on Facebook, Betsy's over here monitoring the stream. Is the stream live, Bets? Are you seeing it? It is good. So the stream is going live. I'm not able to see everyone who's watching the stream, and I'm going to go into presenter mode. So Betsy, if there's someone who has a comment or something, just give me a wave. I see, I'll check some quick shout outs right now. Dean Hankey, he said, what's up? And he's grateful. And my mom is so sweet, you guys. My mom saw the thing I posted for this, and my mom, God bless her, attempted to do Facebook marketing to help get the word out. So I love you, Mom. My mom is Diane, if you're on Facebook there. Alta, it's good to see you. Chris K, or what's up, Chris? We'll talk later today. Just good to see all you guys. So those of you on Facebook, I put a link to join in the description for this Zoom. So if you want to get into the Zoom and ask questions, just click that link and you should be able to jump right in with us. And if you, are you able to join? Can you try joining the Zoom from that link, Bets? And if you're in the Zoom, you can ask questions and all of that stuff with us as well. So what I'm going to do in just a moment, I'm going to go to screen share and share with you guys what I've created. And I'm actually, it has been a big shift for me to make this. And before I go into this, I'm going to call you to be a big speaker and to step up in your life. And this morning I was working out at my gym. And in case you don't know, I broke my tibia on my left leg last year. So my left leg doesn't have the strength my right does. And our coach was asking us to do lunges. And my first round of lunges, I don't know why I'm getting emotional. I think it just I'm remembering the pain I went through last July when I broke my leg. So I lunged and I couldn't get up. I was just stuck at the bottom. And it's not that physically I wasn't capable. It was that my body and my subconscious didn't believe I could do it. But what was really interesting, I kept going and I had to use a pipe to help myself get up, or I had to just take a break and then get back up. But by the third round of lunges, I just busted them out and I had really, really good form. And what I want to say to you is, I'm talking about lunges, but it's a reminder of when we do something new, it could seem impossible. When we're doing something new, it could seem so difficult, but it's not impossible. And if you stick with it, you will achieve what you used to think was impossible. And talking about progress, you guys, I have goals in my calendar that I read. And it struck me yesterday that goals I set out 6 months to a year ago, all of those I've hit. And I used to have on the subject line of my email, it would say Jase Souder, who, or in the PS of my email, it'd say Jase Souder, who is, and then I had some descriptions of what I wanted to be in life, and I've hit all of those. And so I'm setting new goals and going forward, but my point is for you guys, you can do this. Whatever your dream is, it's available, it's out there. And I want to share with you how speaking can really be the thing that catalyzes you to get there. So let me, babe, were you able to join from there, Bets?
I was not, so I'm going to be fixing that.
You can copy and paste the earlier descriptions into the, you got it handled. She's giving me that look like, shut up, I got this handled. So let's get some go juice. Hey guys, so let's jump into the presentation, and I'm so grateful and glad that you are here. So let me jump in right now. So this is World Class Speaker Academy, and welcome. So a question for you: how would you like more sales, better clients, to finally get paid what you're worth, to hang out, do business with thought leaders who are crushing it, standing ovations? At the end of your presentation, if you're a speaker, you're going to get paid one of two ways: either money or standing ovations. Well, ideally one of two ways: money or standing ovations, maybe even both. And would you like to learn the fastest way to grow your business? That's speaking. You're about to learn how I went from being a struggling entrepreneur who made a total of $2,000 in 6 months. Does anyone think that's a lot of money? No? Good. So how I use public speaking to go from making $2,000 in 6 months to doing 96,000 in sales in 90 minutes with the power of public speaking. See, public speaking is the number one fastest way to grow your business. Number one fastest way I've maintained to grow any business. So this is the secrets of speaking. This is really about how to become a world-class speaker and how to get, you guys, we're not just talking about being a pretty speaker who does a keynote and gets a check. Really, you can learn that, and that's great. What we really are talking about, though, is how to rock webinars, how to rock seminars, how to get standing ovations, but more importantly, how to get massive impact in the world and a rush of new clients. When you learn how to master and harness the power of public speaking, whatever it is you're into, whether it's a nonprofit or a business, you grow and get a ton of new clients. So really what I'm focused on, and you'll know you're right for this, if you have a business that you would like to grow massively, if you would like a message to be heard, and if you have an impact, a dream for the world, something you want to do. So, well, speaking of that, before I go on, I think more important than anything else I could do is share with you my why. And my why is I believe you were born to make a difference. I believe that you have a God-given mission that only you can do, and it can be fulfilled and funded through your business. I don't know if that mission is like Don's on here. We went to Uganda on an actual mission trip last year. Well, it's a lot easier for me to take 2 weeks off and pay for a mission trip when my business is rocking. But maybe your mission is to send your kids to a certain college. Maybe your mission is to have enough time off that you can homeschool your kids. Maybe your mission is you got that dream car you want to buy. I've bought a dream car before. It's awesome. Maybe your mission is to take your spouse on that dream vacation. Or maybe there's this burning desire in your heart to cause change in the world. Maybe you see what's happening right now and you're like, someone needs to do something. And that someone is you. There's a song by Matthew West. He says, I looked around, I saw the state of the world, and I shook my fist at heaven. I said, God, why don't you do something? And God said, I did. I created you. And so I want to put that out for you. God created you to do something, and I believe your mission in life can be fulfilled and funded through your business. So, and I believe also when you speak, you change 3 things, and this is so exciting. You change your business, you change yourself, and you change the world. I'll talk more about that later. So thank you, by the way, for joining. If you guys were live, I'd ask you to high five your neighbor and tell them how awesome they are. I'm gonna give you a virtual high five and telling you, I just think you're great. I know there's a lot of distractions. I know there's other things you could be doing. And I promise you that I'll make this time. I will do my portion to make this time worth it for you. So welcome to World Class Speaker Academy. Before we go on, some of you know me, some of you don't. So quick introduction on who I am. This was me. I went to Iceland a few years ago, 2 years ago. I went to see the Northern Lights. And while unfortunately, we didn't see the lights because it was cloudy, overcast when the lights were happening, we did have this one night where there's no clouds and we soaked in a hot springs on the southeast corner of Iceland. And then it was when the Pleiades meteor shower was going over and we saw something like 30 shooting stars in an hour. And it was one of those nights I will never forget. I'm a huge, passionate fan about making lifelong memories. I've been featured on the news nationwide a whole bunch of times. I have been in the movie Pass It On with Rudy Rudiger, Evander Holyfield, Dennis Waitley, a lot of today's thought leaders like Greg Reed. I've also been blessed to be in a bunch of books with people like Deepak Chopra, Anthony Robbins, Mark Victor Hansen. And if you've heard of things like Guerrilla Marketing Summit, I've been able to speak and meet and connect with speakers all around the world at places like Guerrilla Marketing Summit, top speaking events. And I spoke at Harvard recently. And while I was at Harvard, I met the most interesting man in the world. You know, the guy who says, stay thirsty, my friends. So yes, I did get a product shot with him while I was at Harvard. I always think that's great. So speaking of product shots, I have been blessed. What I have done in my business is I've learned how to take my thoughts and ideas and create products out of them that have helped entrepreneurs make millions of dollars and have helped entrepreneurs realize their dreams and goals. So I've created home study courses, as well as on the right, I've created a whole bunch of live programs where people come either on Zoom or they come in person, and we train them how to have success in business and speaking. And I've written presentations for some of the most influential experts and speakers like Matt Basak, there in the middle is Les Brown, and over on the right, Laura Castleman, the CEO of JV Zoo. And I'm blessed. have a great life, and because I learned the secrets of speaking, because I learned how to make huge sales from speaking, I have time for what's important. See, when you learn to harness speaking to grow your business, it's one of the fastest, most economical, most powerful marketing vehicles there is. You can make a lot of money fast, and that gives you a lot of time off to do what you want to do. So I get to give back, and it gives me the time to give back. So here I was in Nicaragua. We built a playground for these kids, and we put a retaining wall around a church. I also got to go to Ghana. This was in Ghana. We did medical screening for some villages over there. And I just went to Uganda. And in Uganda, I got to play pharmacist. And so that's me being a pharmacist in the middle. We did a medical camp there as well. And we did screenings for, I believe, over 1,000 people in Uganda. And I just love it. It's giving back is my passion. But here's my other way of giving back. And people don't normally expect this, but wow, I just got touched, Betsy. I think I'm touched because I'm so excited about what's coming, and I know it's about to happen. So the other way I get to give back is I do seminars and events, and people might not think that's a give back, but it is. And the reason that's a big give back is because my goal is that everyone in that room knows themselves better, they love themselves more, they love the world more, and they have the tools to make the world a better place. That's my goal. So the other way I give back is we do seminars, events, and trainings, and we make a difference all across the world. And we help people who then go out and make a difference all across the world. I think our furthest away person we're working with right now is Hong Kong. Just love it. And we have a lot of fun. We have a good time at these events too. But it was not always this way. There were some rough times. So the first time I went out and sold my own seminars and workshops, I spoke on a stage, 400 to 500 people, and I did like 98,000 in sales. And it was amazing. But here's the challenge. I had no idea why I was doing well. So sometimes I rocked and sometimes I bombed. And through careful consideration and study, I found that the times that I made multiple 5 figures were way more fun than the times I made nothing. That's a freebie. You want to write that down. So what happens in the start I got in business and how I started speaking, I worked for a different seminar company, and his training was literally, you've seen it, go do it. That was it. And so I was just talking to a friend, Harold, who was working with us back then, back when I would rock and bomb. And this was around 2004 to 2007. And Harold started speaking too. And he's like, I had no idea why I succeeded when I succeeded and bombed. We had no clue. It was really frustrating. And so, my first time selling, I made almost 98,000. Other times I made 0. It really stunk. But here's what's worse. When I made no sales, it doesn't mean I made 0. It means I made negative because I either had to pay for a sponsorship or travel and expenses. But that's not the worst part. The worst part is this: word spreads. See, when I would speak on a stage and do, say, $80,000 in sales, the promoter would get a piece of that action. So if I do really, really well, the promoter makes more money. And if I bomb, the promoter gets nothing. So if I bomb, the promoters are going to tell every other promoter, hey, don't have this guy on your stage. He bombed. Now, those of you who are doing sponsorships out there right now, and that's a big thing, is to pay to get on stage. Sponsorships are great. And while the promoter has your money from sponsorship, they still want to give their audience a great experience. So if you bomb on stage, if you're not entertaining, if you don't give high value, they're going to have the word spread too, and it's going to be harder for you to get on stage. Now, the flip of this is great, and I'll get to that in a minute. So the worst part is I had no idea what was wrong when I bombed and what I was doing right when I rocked. And it just got so frustrating. And then finally, the roughest time happened when I spoke at an event, and I bombed, and the promoter sends his assistant to take me to dinner. And I thought to myself, oh, well, maybe he's going to give me a pep talk. And we go to dinner, and the promoter's assistant's kind of an awkward guy, but he's being like extra awkward. And the promoter's assistant looks at me and he says, remember, I just sold 0, right? He looks at me and he says, we'd like to invite you not to come back. I thought, that's a horrible pep talk. But how would you have felt in that moment? You're giving it your best. You're speaking to grow your business. You want to make a difference, and you just get invited not to come back. It was miserable, and the pain of that, and the pain of this up and down and no consistency, really got to me. So soon after this, I'm creating my home study course on one-to-one sales, and I had mastered one-to-one sales, and that was the first thing I taught. Is I used to hold 3-day intensives on learning sales. And I got to tell you guys, all sales start one-to-one. You cannot be a great speaker without learning one-to-one, but being masterful at one-to-one does not equal being masterful one-to-many. One-to-many is a whole additional skill set on top. So I'm studying though, and I'm putting together my one-to-one sales, and I'm just immersing myself, and I'm studying social psychology. I'm studying triggers, and I get this vibe. It was like a nudge, like from my higher self going, Jase, create a system for speaking. And I had been immersing myself in these videos on social psychology. I had been immersing myself in learning how we have this kind of a neural network that connects us globally through social media now. I had been learning about social positioning. And so I took all of this stuff and I created a system for speaking. And I figured out, what was I doing wrong, or what was I not doing when I bombed? And what was I doing right when I rocked? What was making it work? And I put together a system for speaking. And because I told you this already, it's immersion, sales, social psychology, triggers, group dynamics, personality types, communication, closing techniques. So I put all of this into the system, plus a whole bunch of new stuff I had been learning. Plus I sat down and thought about it. Like, what did I do when I rocked that presentation? What did I not do when I bombed that one? And I created a system that works. And I learned a couple things. One is, you need to flip the psychological switches in your audience in the right order to make sales and change lives. So let's pretend there's 10 switches and they're in the down position. They're in the no position. If you only get one in the yes position, you're not making sales. You have to get all 10 switches up and in the right order for sales to be made. If you don't get all 10 switches up, and if you don't do them in the right order, you won't make sales from stage. So I created a system with all the psychological triggers to get all 10 switches up. And I created what I call the world-class speaker system. And I'm really excited to start rolling this out, sharing this with you more. So the speaker system is this: compelling content times dynamic delivery times you. And here's what it looks like. And we give, you got to have the right words to get the psychological triggers up. You have the dynamic delivery, be entertaining, and then your mindset has to be right. I'll go a little bit deeper on this. So now I use my system, and I met a guy, and he says, I'm going to put you on stage. And by the way, have you ever noticed when you learn something or you have a breakthrough, you get an opportunity to use it? So I created this system, and then I believe as God rewarded me with an opportunity to audition for this big stage. So the guy has, every February, he's got a big event, 250 to 300 people. But he says, you got to audition. I'll put you in front of this small mastermind group I have in November, and you can audition. I'm like, all right. He goes, but you can't sell. You are not allowed to sell. You are not allowed to sell. No sales. I'm like, okay, no sales, no sales. So I go to this event, and I have to pay my own travel because I'm auditioning, and pay for my hotel, whatever. And I use my system, and I delivered great content. My delivery was on. I was inspiring. I got them moving. I got people crying. I got people laughing, and my mindset was right. I was there from a place of service and confidence. And when I finished the presentation, the speaker comes, I used the system and I rocked it. And when I finished the presentation, the guy comes over to me and he goes, hey, let's sell your stuff. And I'm like, I thought I wasn't supposed to sell. And he goes, you rocked it. Let's sell your stuff. So we gave those attendees a discount on my product, and we made an offer. And I think we sold almost everybody in the entire room. That one day sales using my system, I made 25, I did enough revenue that equaled 25% of my previous year's income. So let me say that again. One presentation using this system, I made enough sales to equal 25% of my previous year's income. That was awesome. So then the guy pulls me aside at the end. Everybody's gone. He goes, let's talk. I'm like, okay, great. And he says, I'd like to invite you. And I'm like, I had a flashback to the last time someone said, I'd like to invite you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what? And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, I thought I did a good presentation. What's going on here? And he goes, I'd like to invite you to speak to my group 4 times a year. You can sell your stuff, and I'll pay you monthly to do it. So using the system, I went from no consistency in my sales to rocking the presentation, getting on his big stage, and getting hired to be a coach for his organization, getting paid monthly, and adding speaking gigs. And I did that. I was speaking on that stage for 7 years until he sold the company I spoke. And many of the people watching here, I actually met from that stage. So this is me actually on that stage the first time I spoke. And so I made an offer there and I sold my coaching program. Actually, I sold my home study kit on one-to-one sales. And I did enough sales on that one day on that big stage that equaled 50% of my previous year's income. So what I'm saying is, using the system, I spoke twice and I equaled 75% of my previous year's sales. Who would like that? Would you like to use a system where you could speak twice and make 75% of your previous year's sales? I can't guarantee anything. And you may be in a service-oriented business where you don't have a product to sell. But what if you could speak and radically increase your impact in the world and your income? That's what we're talking about. And that's the power of the world-class speaker system. Now, here's what's important about the system. I'm not special. The system is special. I really want you guys to get this. I wasn't born with this extraordinary gift to know how to close from stage. It's that the system that I created works. And people who use this system are seeing really great results with their business exploding. So this is the world-class speaker system. And the breakthrough, part of the breakthrough is the content system. Remember I said there's content times delivery times you. So content is the right words to say. So this is Alicia. She's from Las Vegas, and I created a home study course on the template that I created for like what to say and the order to say it. I don't give you the words to say, but I give you talk about this topic, then this topic, then this topic, then this topic. She says she used my template, rewrote her approach, felt total confidence, had people handing her their business cards, asking to work with her, coming off stage. She booked 3 appointments on the spot. And this is Ken Sherman. He actually helps people do books. And so Ken wanted to start using speaking as a way to market his book publishing company. So Ken said, thanks for giving me the confidence and organization to effectively sell from stage. It's exactly what I needed to take my speaking career to the next level. My first sales presentation to a small audience of business owners resulted in over $32,000 in revenue to my business. Not bad, huh? I feel like there's no limit to what I can accomplish thanks to your guidance. You rock, Ken. So here's the challenges today for most people, I find. Having to pay for presentations, being boring, good is not enough, only talking about your company. By the way, a huge mistake in speaking is talking about your company. Speakers are winging it, going without psychology and strategy. There's a ton of competition. You may only get one chance. Audience are much more skeptical today. You've got to have the right script or you won't make sales. Now here's when I talk about content times delivery times you. If you don't have the right script and flip all the right psychological triggers, you're done. But if we give someone the perfect script, but they're boring, you're done. If perfect script, great delivery, but their mindset is off, they will sabotage and they will do no good with their speaking. So we got to have the right script, we have the right delivery, and most important, we have to have the right mindset. Otherwise, you will sabotage sales. Now, bombing costs you. I talked about bombing already. So Betsy just fired up her phone to check the stream and started talking. So are you ready for return? See, if you're watching this, you're probably in business or you're running a nonprofit or you're a coach or you have a business where you want to grow how many people use your business and you've invested in it. Are you ready for bigger return? Have you spent money on marketing such as sponsorships? Have you spent money on trainings that just don't seem to get you a return or maybe have left you stagnant? Have you spent money to start your business, such as becoming certified or growing your skills as a consultant or getting certified as a speaker? Have you spent a lot of marketing training, but you still don't have enough clients? If any of that's true for you and you're ready for return, then you are in the right place. See, when you master the world-class speaker system, you change 3 things. You change your business, you change the world, and you change you. So let's talk about how you change your business. And here's what's really exciting. One webinar or seminar can change your life and the future of your business. What I mean by that is I told you about that. I auditioned for that one big stage and I rocked that big stage. I picked up at least 14 more speaking gigs out of that one stage. And I've done this multiple times, rocked one good stage and picked up multiple more speaking gigs, but more importantly, got a lot more clients. So let's talk about the speaking system and how it changes your business. First thing is it can make you a ton of money really fast. It's the fastest way to grow your business, make tons of money. One presentation can make you a lot. I mean, literally, you can do 5 and 6 figure paydays. Those are common with world-class speakers. A massive amount of sales, big fat checks. Now, here's what's interesting too. The average speaker or coach who goes out there and attempts to speak or sell on a seminar, webinar, maybe they can sell around a $500 product or a $500 a month coaching package. A good speaker, well, they could sell the $1,000 coaching package, a $1,000 product. World-class speakers can sell the $15,000 and up. I wrote $10,000 and up to be conservative here, but really, world-class speakers are selling 15, 20, 25,000 and up packages. The only way you get to do that, though, is you've got to become masterful at speaking from stage. So world-class speaking changes your business also because it's low cost. It's a low or no-cost marketing strategy, and it's even paid marketing. Here's what I mean by that. It's in demand and growing in demand, and there's so many opportunities to speak, and there's very few good speakers. And remember I said all it takes is one presentation. If you crush it selling from stage, people will give you more chances to sell. Let me expand on that a little bit. That first big stage I sold on and I crushed, when I finished, I got off stage and a guy named TJ walks over to me and he goes, "Hey, I have this group in Portland. I'm doing an event in a couple of months. Would you come speak at my event?" I got on TJ's stage and I spoke on TJ's stage for years. 16 years later, we're still friends too. So when you crush it on one stage, you get more stages. And then remember I said maybe even paid. What I mean by that is one of our clients, he does classes for realtors as a way to market his company. He has a business where he wants realtors to send him referrals, right? So used to be he would have to pay to speak in front of the realtors, pay a sponsorship to speak, and then they'd send him business. And then the people liked him so much, they said, "Hey, just come speak to our group. You're our official trainer. Just come speak to our group." But then it got even better. They started paying him to do presentations for his group. So imagine this. Someone's giving you a check to do presentations to your ideal client where you're actually marketing to them every time. That's beautiful. You're getting paid to market. That can happen with speaking. That can happen with speaking. That can happen with speaking. I must need more coffee. Hold on one moment. Runs on coffee. So mostly it's free to speak too. What I mean by that, there's so many podcasts, so many webinars. There's very few companies out there that can write you a $3,000 to $10,000 check to come to a keynote speech. There are a ton of business meetings that will welcome you in if you could deliver value. There's a ton of businesses that will welcome you in to do training. There's all kinds of conferences that are looking for good speakers. Great speakers get invited back over and over and over and over again. And like I said, tons of webinars, podcast media. You guys, there's thousands a month looking for good speakers. You could spend every day, all day as a guest speaker. And when you're a great speaker, people will want more of you and more of your business. Let me see some comments. People are saying, "Wow, great. Own it with your bad self, brother. Speaking much. Love it. Keep rocking it, buddy." Thanks, you guys. This is awesome. So, and what I love too that I haven't put on here is like some of the people commenting. I just love them. And I have been blessed to meet the neatest business owners and the neatest thought leaders through speaking. I'll talk more about that in just a moment. So world-class speaking changes the world. So remember I said it changes your business. It also changes the world and it changes you. So let's talk about how it changes the world. Through speaking and public presentations, you get to help a lot of people. And if you think about it, anyone that's ever had a major impact in the world was a public speaker. Gandhi, Jesus, Martin Luther King, some of the great presidents you could think of in history, people who have had a massive impact on the world all use public speaking. And today we have YouTube and we have Zooms and we have Facebook Lives. Those are all forms of public speaking. And the way you've got to speak on them requires a different level of training. Great speakers are not born, great speakers are made. So you get to help a lot of people and you make a major, not a minor impact on people's lives. I have people that went through my events back in babe, please don't log into Zoom. It just kicked me out, I think. You guys, if you're still in here, can you did you hear what I said?
You can.
Okay. Are we live? I can't tell if we're live. It looks like we're, you guys, we had a technical glitch. Betsy was logging in to attempt to get it going on that computer, and it looks like it booted. So you guys that are watching, do me a favor, let me know if you can still see me and hear me and that I'm good on here. Betsy says we're good. She says we're good. Good, it looks like we're good. All right, we're here, good, awesome. So let me get that thing back up. I totally lost my flow right there. Hey, thank you for checking the stream though, I do appreciate it. All right, let's get back to there. Desktop, share. How's that? Can you see my presentation again? Babe, can you log out and cut your video right there? Give us a second. We've never, usually we Zoom, but we don't use the webinar version of Zoom. And so it's kind of messing it up. It's kind of making it wonky right now. So are you able to see me again now? Cool. Thanks, guys. And whenever you're going to the next level, funky stuff's always going to happen, right? So let's see if you can see my screen on there now. So we're picking up with talking about how world-class speaking changes the world. Cool. So we talked about helping a lot of people, making a major, not minor impact, make the money to fulfill your mission is where I want to pick up now. Yeah, we're working. Looks like we're good. So this is where it gets interesting. When we talk about making a difference in the world, some people say, oh, are we all present after that? I realize that kind of threw me off. It probably threw you guys off too. So everybody take a deep breath. We're good, right? Actually, it's interesting. Thanks, I just got live. Good. Thank you guys. Still here. Yeah, Ishvan, I didn't realize how squeaky. Normally, I wear headphones for this, and you wouldn't hear the chair. I could put them in, but I'm not going to switch midway through. So I will get this thing oiled before my next one. Thanks. So it's interesting that the Zoom geeked up right when we're talking about making a difference. I believe that there's resistance in the world that doesn't want you to make a difference. We couldn't have planned that better. That was great, Betsy. Thank you. So that's what happens, you guys. When you're going to go make a difference, there's going to be a lot of resistance. That's why you've got to get trained to be certain in the destination you're going to and become unstoppable. Otherwise, you will be stopped. So let's jump back in. My friend Mike says this: the more money you make, the more people you can help. It is super, ultra important for you to learn how to make the money to fulfill your mission. If you don't learn how to make that money, it really makes it hard. And I see entrepreneurs all the time who want to make a difference, and the first thing they do is they go beg or they ask for charity. Why don't you just go make a crap ton of money and then give it away? This is how your life-changing message is heard also. And then world-class speaking changes you. And this is super exciting. If you're watching, I think you have something in your heart. I bet that you have a passion and a mission, and I bet you have a stirring for greatness. I remember when I first started out in entrepreneurship, I saw people making a lot more money than I did. I saw people crushing it. And I remember looking at them thinking, I'm every bit as worthy as they are. I'm every bit as talented as they are, but I'm not making the money they are. I'm not making the impact they are. And it was really frustrating because I felt like I was made for more. Is that you? Do you feel like you're made for more? And I want you guys to know this. I wasn't born a great speaker or anything like that. I was born quite average. And that's kind of how I was raised. I had to go to a lot of seminars to work on myself to step up to a different level. And part of what happened for me is I realized world-class speaker changes you because you have to be your best to be a great speaker. When I know I have a great speaking gig coming up, when I know there's a big speaking gig, it calls me to leave behind the junk in my life, to make breakthroughs and to step up. Also, here's how it changes you, because this is where you go to the next level. You get known and become who you always knew that you were supposed to be. And here's how it does it, is you get to make a difference, which changes you. It calls you to be your greatest. It causes you to leave behind your old expectations of you, your old self-image. You can't call other people to greatness unless you're willing to be called to greatness. And being called to greatness requires you to move through fear. It requires you to move through doubt. It requires you to hang on to faith in something bigger. And it requires you to move boldly forward and to say yes. It requires you to say yes when you don't know how to say yes. It requires you, when everything around you is saying no, to step up and be great. And then what happens when you do this, when you make the breakthroughs, when you say yes, when you move forward, you get seen for the greatness you are, and you get recognized, and you get to be who you've always wanted to be. And here's another part that comes out of that people don't know, is that you'll change because the people you hang around with and you do business with will change. See, speakers hang out with speakers. When you're in the green room, you're hanging out with the other speakers and you meet peer to peer. So those books you've been reading, those people you look up to, those people you're like, oh my gosh, I would just love to meet them one day. When you become a speaker, you have the opportunity to. I have been blessed to meet and hang around with some of the neatest, most influential people in America. And it is just, I have gotten more growth out of that than probably all the events I've taken, because they're playing at such a high level. It causes me to step up. You get access to a whole new realm of achievers, and you finally get to be around the people you've always wanted to meet, and you meet them as a peer and a friend. So your peer group changes. You get invited to hang out with some of the neatest people and do some of the coolest stuff. It was really funny. Betsy and I were just on a mastermind, like a business training, literally yesterday, the Zoom training. And one of the attendees like, hey, you guys should all read this book. And he names the author of the book. And we look at each other and start giggling because we have a friend named Bob, and Bob's very well connected. And through Bob, we had literally just met the author of that book. And so we know the author of that book, and we're now in a circle with him. And then on this other business training, someone's like, you guys just have to read this book. We're like, we know that dude. That will happen to you. And it's such a cool thing. So the opportunities now. I talked about resistance earlier. I talked about the challenges earlier. Now let's look at why the opportunity is so good, because anyone who has the right training can do a presentation. Very few people know how to sell from speaking. Very few have confidence in training to rock a stage. You get to hang out, do business with people who are crushing it, and you finally get paid what you're worth. So I like to summarize it like this. What's the best part? You make a difference and you make a lot of money. So let's talk a little bit more about this. And I want to share with you some myths and some truths around speaking. Myth, I'll wing it and be all right. Truth, wing it presenters get wing it results. The real truth is great speakers never wing it. Myth, great speakers they're just born that way. Couldn't be further from the truth. The truth is great speakers are trained. Myth, I'm not afraid to speak, I'll be okay. Yeah, you know what? I know how to talk. I know how to ride a bike, and I know how to swim, and I know how to jog. I am not ready for an Ironman. Just knowing how to talk and get on stage and not be afraid does not make you ready to be a world-class speaker. Truth, your speaker training determines your speaker results. So this is Susan Crow sent me this testimonial. Here's Susan in the middle. I don't know if you can see my mouse moving on screen. Can you see that? Susan's right there in the middle under the American flag. She's getting a standing ovation. I helped Susan write and worked on her delivery and her mindset for presentation she did at a big event. She said, Jase was so great working with me to create and perform my presentation for 3 days. He was so encouraging and helped me every step of the way. He helped me take info and ideas and turn them into a presentation that people could really understand and connect with and enjoy. He was incredible. Could not have done it without him. Thank you, Susan. Now, here's what's really cool and interesting. Susan was not selling a coaching service. Susan actually, her passion is a nonprofit where they go on these mission trips. And before learning the power of public speaking, she did fundraising. And in 1 year, she raised about $1,000. Using speaking, she increased it 1,100%. She made $11,000 in contributions because she switched to public speaking. And that's the kind of results that are exciting. How much more can they do with that extra $10,000? They can multiply their impact at least 11 times with that extra contribution. So here's the formula again. Compelling content times dynamic delivery times you. So here's what's really cool. There is a system for compelling content. There is a system for dynamic delivery, and there is a system for confident you. So on the time we have allotted, I'm going to give you a little bit of training in each one of these and then share with you what we have coming out that's super exciting to help you with all three of these. So first, let's talk about compelling content. Well, let me tell you this, I guess, before we go into that. I mentioned that I was tell you guys a little bit what's coming up and what's new. So the World Class Speaker Academy is my new umbrella brand. And it used to be called Profitable Presentations. Our new umbrella is called World Class Speaker Academy. Think about that as like our university. That's our campus for university. And on that university, we have different courses like dynamic speaker training, course script where we write presentations together, be funny, make money. You learn the tools and the mindset of comedy and improv. Profitable Presentations Live and Dynamic Life, our That's what I'm wearing right here. It's a 4-day, super amazing, intense breakthrough event we do every January. So we also have black belt speaker training. You may have heard about that. So World Class Speaker Academy is our new umbrella brand where people come to learn compelling content, dynamic delivery, and how to be unstoppable and have the greatest you possible. And then a little bit, I'm going to share our newest thing that is so exciting. And all of these are a combination, these all that I'm showing you right here are all live events. And I'm about to share something super exciting in a moment. So let's talk about compelling content. You must hit all the right psychological triggers in the right order to create sales. I already mentioned that. So I use the compelling content system to write a webinar for digital marketer with 20 million unique visits. This is big players use this system. So give you a quick glimpse into this. In the stages of presentation, there's the beginning, the middle, and the end. Did you guys write that down? Did you get that? No, I'm just kidding, you guys. It's called the intro, the body, and the call to action. It's called the introduction because you're literally introducing yourself and you're making a relationship. And the body, you're delivering content that moves people to action. And then at the call to action, you're asking people to take an action. Every presentation you do, there's always a call to action. That doesn't mean you're asking for a sale of a credit card or cash for good or service. The call to action could be behave a certain way, believe a certain way, act a certain way, get converted. If you don't have a call to action on your presentation, why are you speaking? That's called ego speaking, and I have no interest in that. And I don't think you're going to be on this if you're an ego speaker. Ego speakers talk to hear themselves talk. They speak to get something from the audience. I want you to speak to bring something to the audience. And in your call to action, you're going to call them to a better life. Whether or not that better life includes buying something from you, you're encouraging and inspiring and calling people to take on a better life. That's a call to action. So let's talk about your introduction. When you take the stage, your audience has 4 questions. 1, do I like this speaker? 2, does this matter to me? 3, what qualifies the speaker to be here? And 4, does the speaker care about me? If you don't answer all of these questions immediately upon taking the stage, you are sunk. So here's our 4 goals when we take the stage. We want to have in the introduction rapport, interest, authority, and train and inspire the audience. We want to gain rapport right away. We want them to say to themselves, yes, I am interested in this content. It matters to me. We want to establish ourselves an authority and someone worth listening to. And we want to train and inspire the audience. We want to train and inspire them how to be a good audience, i.e., if it's a presentation under 2 hours, you probably don't want Q&A because it's just a very concise presentation. If you're doing 2 hours or longer, you probably want audience interaction to make it more of a workshop. And if you're doing a multi-day to a year-long event, then interaction is absolutely essential, but people don't naturally do it. You've got to train them to do it. So those are 4 goals we take the stage: rapport, interest, authority, train, and inspire the audience. So you've got to let the audience know how they will win from your presentation right away up front. This, by the way, if you know a pastor or someone who speaks in kind of that capacity, I find a lot of pastors don't let you know how you're going to win from this presentation till like the end. And it's like, ta-da, here's your lesson. And they can get away with it because a lot of people in a church service don't have to be there, but they're going to be there out of their commitment to be in church. I think a lot of pastors would be a lot more effective if they said, are you having a problem in your marriage? I'm going to teach you how to make it better today. Or if you want to have a great marriage or just great relationships, pay attention. I'm going to teach you how. Let people know. See, when you're speaking to grow a business, you do not have the luxury of not letting people know how they'll win. They're busy. Your audience has lives. Your audience is probably running a business or they're in business. And if they don't know how they're going to win right away, you are sunk. So you got to let them know right away up front how they're going to win from your business. Does it make sense? Cool. So this is what Greg from Houston told me. Now, remember I talked about earlier that if you do a presentation, it'll open up more stages. Well, that big stage I told you I auditioned for and that I rocked, one of the people in the audience was Greg Bryan. This is Greg with his glasses on his head over here on the right. And a couple years later, Greg hired me to go to Houston where he lived to do a presentation. And so there's one of the stages that came out of that one big opportunity I capitalized on. And while we're hanging out, Greg said, did I ever tell you what happened the first time I saw you speak? I said, no. He said, you walked on stage, 10 minutes into your presentation, I looked at my business manager, 10 minutes of my presentation. 10 minutes into your presentation, I looked at my business manager and I said, whatever this guy is selling, we're buying. whatever this guy is selling, we're buying. How would you like it if 10 minutes into your presentation, audience members were convinced and sure they wanted to work with you? And when you rock just the introduction alone, imagine what that could do for your business. And we're talking about, we've still got the body of the call to action to go, but if you could rock just that introduction, what could you do? And there's a system for that kind of success. So here's one of the things I want you to write down that's part of that system. It's not what they get, it's where they get. When you're speaking and you're creating a coaching program, when you're creating something to change lives, what's critical is not what's in it, it's the destination. So in other words, where you get with us is you get to live your God-given mission. You get to be seen for your greatness. You get to make a ton of money. You get to make a difference, and you get to make a lot of money. You get to fulfill what you were put on earth to do. That's where you get. How you get there, is that really important? See, because if I could sell you on the destination and get you so committed to the destination, then you'll be willing to do anything to get there, which, by the way, is part of the breakthrough. It's helping you get so certain that you're going to this destination that you'll do whatever it takes to get there. And if you're willing to do whatever it takes to get there, that's 90% of the battle, the willingness. So part of your job as a speaker and a coach is to inspire and sell people that they can do it, that they're capable of doing it, and that they can have it, and that they need to go for it. And you need to sell the destination. That's what people are buying, is the destination. They're not buying you buy a car, you don't buy all the nuts and bolts that make up the car. It's where they get, not what they get. So content is extremely important. I've been talking content. But what's more important is delivery. Here's how I discovered this. We're going to talk about dynamic delivery. So, the three parts: content, delivery, you. Now we're going to move into delivery. So what's the difference between bad sales, huge sales, blacklisted? Blacklisted, it means no one has you on stage. Divided back, snooze fests, successful events, people leaving, standing ovations. What's the difference between you struggling and your business rocking? Now, we talk content, super important, but this next piece is the piece so few people have. Well, the story begins with two speakers. I told you I worked for another company, and I would travel and support the speaker in his speaking. Like, I'd travel with him to speaking gigs. And at this one event, I saw two speakers. Speaker one had amazing content on brain science. I mean, like, unbelievably cutting edge stuff. Like, I'm listening to this guy going, this guy's amazing. Speaker two, good content. Speaker one, the audience is like, they're like this, checking their phones, playing games. Like, should I leave? They're so bored. Speaker two, the audience was laughing and crying. Speaker one, people were leaving. Speaker two, standing ovation. Speaker one was like this when he delivered. Hello, I know I'd like to talk. Speaker two is all over the place, telling stories, animated, letting himself be touched, raise a tear in his eye, laughing and get an audience laughing. Speaker one, very few sales. Speaker two, hundreds of thousands of dollars in coaching sold from one presentation. What was the difference? Delivery. I learned if I want to be a successful speaker, I better be dynamic and funny. I remember thinking, if I want to be successful, I have to be funny. In fact, the first seminar I ever wrote was called The Funny Farm. It was about how to be funny for speakers, because I was so committed to learning how to stick around as a speaker. I learned that. And by the way, here's a rule of thumb. I've sat through many presentations, and there's one thing you have to know: do not be boring. If you're boring, you're out of there, no matter how good the content is. They made a movie. You've got to entertain. Speaking's putting on a show, and they made a movie, and it was called The World's Greatest Showman, not The World's Greatest Content Man. And too many people focus on the content and not the delivery of the content, and that's why they're speaking bombs, and that's why they're business bombs. So here's the delivery and entertainment formula. I want you to write this down. When you're speaking, the number of laughs you get multiplied by the number of tears. And tears doesn't mean like, oh, people just, but it could be like when people feel that heart. The number of laughs times the number of tears equals the number of impacts in the audience. The number of laughs times the number of tears equals the number of lives change. And the number of laughs times tears equals the number of sales you will make. If these numbers on laughs and tears are low, then your impacts, lives change, and sales are low. If these numbers of laughs and tears are high, then your impacts, lives change, and sales will be high. So I went and searched for the answer. I'm like, I got to be funny. So I went to search for the answer. I took on a journey for what I call the holy grail of speaking. And the holy grail of speaking is how to be funny, but on purpose. So at the time, I lived here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And my friend AJ was a speaker trainer. And AJ and I went to show after show after show. We studied comedians. We weren't ripping off their jokes, but we were watching how did they lean in when they told that joke? How did they tee up the story so the joke would hit better? And then some people, because they get the audience laughing so well, that they could then make it serious and like really touch people's hearts. And you guys, literally, I was living in the capital of entertainment for the world. So we're watching the world's best entertainers. We're watching Cirque du Soleil, watching hypnosis shows, watching comedians, I've gone to see with Donnie Marie, went to see a bunch of singers, all kinds of people, right? How do these people become such good entertainers that they could work in Vegas? And then we applied that to speaking. And so I learned how to be an entertainer. I performed around the world at conference seminars, and again, I went on the news. And what this means is I also learned how to be a stage entertainer. In fact, I became a comedy hypnotist. And I did it, I really had no intention of doing it. I did it just to see if I could do it. And the audience had such a good time, and I had such a good time. But more importantly, I realized this is training me to be a world-class speaker, that I started becoming an entertainer. And so I performed for conferences from businesses that are like local around the corner businesses to Union Pacific Railroad, which is a multi-billion-dollar business. I've done comedy shows for them. This was a reunion for America West Airlines. I billed myself as the world's second funniest hypnotist, by the way. Why second funniest? Well, one, my ego is not big enough, I have to say first. And two, when you call yourself the world's second funniest, nobody argues with you. They only argue about who the funniest is. And also, I just thought it was kind of funny. And then here I am at a conference too. This is one of the big conferences I mentioned I spoke at. There's me right in the middle doing my comedy show. And then it went on the news. If you've ever heard of the Daily Buzz, it was like, Good Morning America for Generation X. I hypnotized the host. By the way, that guy right there, he wanted career advancement. He's now on Fox and Friends on the weekend. He went from the Daily Buzz to now he's on Fox nationwide. And then I've done local news as well, hypnotize the host. And it's free PR publicity, but more than anything, it's training for being a dynamic speaker. So I learned how to apply these comedy skills to speaking. And I learned that it's not just about being funny, it's touching the heart. See, because if you can move the heart, you can move a life. And this is what it's really about. If you move the heart, you move the life, you move the body, you move the checkbook. But it only comes when you learn to open them up emotionally by being funny. So funny makes money because all buying decisions are based on emotion and then backed up with logic. If you don't know this already, please write this down. All buying decisions are based on emotion and then backed up with logic. So when you're funny and dynamic, here's some other side benefits. You grab your audience's attention. You get your audience to like you, get them riveted to you. People pay attention when you're funny. Get people to spend more money with you, create wow moments in your presentation, and you get invited back time and time again. Plus, when you're funny, it elevates your social standing. So this is Chad Hepp, by the way. So we started putting on events and we started training people how to script, how to be funny, how to deliver from stage, how to be engaging. So Chad sent his marketing team to this. Chad has a multi-million-dollar company with a marketing team. And if you notice the date's 2014, I'm going to show you some new and some old case studies in here. And I want you to notice we're not new. We've been doing this a long time. I've actually been doing speaker training since 2003, so that's 17 years, and full-time as our main focus of our business since 2013. So 2014, Chad was just sending his people. He said his company does 400 presentations. We weren't converting as well as we could. We learned the right mindset from speaking, delivery, and how to connect with the audience. By mastering these, our business will be taken to a whole new level. So this was right after Chad and his marketing team came to the event. So I texted him a year later. I said, well, how's it go? He says, let me look at the numbers. 12.3% increase in sales, 38,000 monthly gross revenue added, annual increase of 48 presentations. Way to go, Chad and team. And then I saw Chad recently, a couple years later, he said, our marketing reps have been called the best presenters, now over 500 presentations a year and $9 million in revenue. That's what it did for his company to have speaker training like this. People buy stories, not stuff. They buy the stories you tell. and the stories they hope to tell by buying your stuff. So we talked about compelling content. We talked about dynamic delivery. Now let's talk a little bit about you. What is the most important part of your presentation? It's you. Because what's in you can stop you from making a difference. What's in you will have you be scared. What's in you will think you're small. What's in you will hold you back. What's in you will sabotage. It'll stop you from growing, stop you from taking ground, stop you from living your mission. Or when you do the work to retrain and reprogram yourself, it can catapult you to success. See, what's in you is expanded on stage. If you get on stage, have you ever noticed the speaker who was nervous or insecure or worried? It shows up and the audience doesn't feel confident and they make no sales. But if you have other speakers who feel confident, other speakers who feel and generate that they have certainty they can help you, other speakers who you are sure like this is a person to work with, that's expanded on stage. So not so great you, if they don't think you, if you don't think they'll refer you, they won't. If you're nervous, it's expanded. If you don't think they'll buy, they won't. I remember I had a speaking gig and the crowd loved me, but my thinking at the time, this is before I developed the world-class speaker system, my thinking was so to sabotage that I was focused on only the negative people in the audience, the 20 negative instead of the 180 that wanted to work with me, and I killed my sales. Luckily, I have gotten over that. Because a great you, if you're on fire, they'll feel it. If you can care, they'll sense it. If you're focused on their success, they'll want more. And this is the biggest thing I want to give you guys to help shift your mindset in this moment. When you're speaking, you're not there for you. When you're speaking, you are there to help them win. And if you have any questions about your qualifications, any questions about whether you're enough, any questions about anything, if you just make it about them winning, then they'll win. And where I really learned this, I was talking to my friend Steven, and he's a buddy from college and not a touchy-feely guy. He doesn't go to seminars, workshops, any of that. But I was talking to him, I said, Steven, I'm teaching people to be millionaires. I've never been a millionaire. I'm teaching people to have better marriages, never been married. I'm teaching people all this stuff I've never done. Am I qualified? And he goes, Jase, here's what I think it comes down to. If you can help people, then help people. And I think that's all it comes down to, guys. If you can help people, then help people. And if you're confident, your audience will know it. And simply your confidence will cause them to feel confident, and they will attach that to your offer, and your sales will go up. So what's the most important part? You. I have had so many experiences in life where I have a breakthrough and then I'm rewarded with an opportunity. Have you guys ever heard of TEDx? I'll tell you a quick story about how mindset shifts. This is Rhonda. So Rhonda's at her event and she had this fear around speaking, didn't think she was worthy, all this stuff, whatever, right? And she gets this breakthrough. She's like, no, I can do this. And then the next morning, the last day of the event, she gets an email. Like it blows me away how often this happens. People have breakthroughs and then they get an opportunity. They get a reward. She gets an email to apply to do a TED Talk. And she says, should I apply? I'm like, yes, you should apply. So she sends in her application. She gets accepted to audition. We work with her on her delivery. We work with her on her scripting. We work with her on her mindset. And she gets a TED Talk. She rocks it out because she got a breakthrough on herself. Then she works on her delivery and her scripting. She lands the TED Talk. Her first public speaking gig since junior high school is a TED Talk. She now gets to say she spoke at TEDx, and she does book design. She's an award-winning book designer because she's now using speaking. She landed a speaking gig, but her non-speaking related business, book cover design, is growing from her presentations. So that's what your mindset can do for you. So all you need for your business to rock and grow is speaking in the right audience. And you guys, part of the reason I'm having this announcement here, and I'm so glad you're with me and watching, is for years I only spoke live. 99.999% of my clients have come from me speaking live. I'm only just now getting a website because my business is growing so fast. I want to help more people. I want to keep up, and I want to help people to help other people. Right now it's being built. It's not even up. We have a very successful business just from speaking, and now we're going to leverage it up higher. So here's why I'm doing this. I was praying and I was asking God for direction on what to do. And have you ever heard that if you drop a pebble in a pond, a ripple goes out, and that ripple is the difference you make in the world? And I made that difference, and I have been that ripple through my business. We were doing personal development and sales training seminars for years. And I was asking God, what's next? And the speaker training is not about speaker training. The speaker training is helping people fund and fulfill their mission. See, the vision I had was I saw all these hands. There's this big giant lake, and all these hands are dropping pebbles and creating waves of change in the world, like creating tsunami of love and change in the world. And that means what God laid on me is to go help other good-hearted business owners learn how to use public speaking so they can change their part of the world, and that person changes their part of the world, and this person changes their part of the world, and I change my part of the world. So together, we're making the world a better place. And public speaking and having impact, income, and influence is the way to do it. So that's why I'm doing this now, guys. The reason I'm doing this is God laid it on my heart to help you grow your business from public speaking so that you can change the world. And together we make this world a better place. So here's Natalie Lavelock. She's one of the people we're helping to do this. She keeps telling me that I'm America's best kept secret as a speaker trainer. During the 6 months before she met me, she made $4,000 in sales. By the way, recently she told me that $4,000, where we met, she was about to speak at a big sponsorship she paid for. And I was watching her, I was like, something's off. I pulled her aside, I gave her 10 minutes of coaching, and she got that $4,000 in sales from that presentation I helped her with. She just told me that recently. Well, she started coming to our programs and training with us on the World Class Speaker Academy. Her first speaking event after working with Jase, she sold $20,000 in coaching programs. So from 4K in 6 months, really we helped her with that too, to $20,000. And I just talked to her recently. She spoke at a webinar. She closed $5,500 package and got paid within 48 hours and collected another $1,500 within 2 days. So she made $7,000 in sales collected within 1 week of one speaking thing online, which, by the way, that is the future of where it's going. I don't care how many events come back live. Online is now a part of what we're doing. And if you don't know how to deliver it and do well online, you are sunk. You must learn this. So this is Isla. Isla is a doula. Like she helps moms have birth. Well, she also coaches doulas in her system. And she was charged like $200, something like that, before we met. We worked on her presentation. She pitched her program the way Jase taught. 4 people signed up on the spot. And 1 week of beginning to work with Jase, she gave a presentation that earned her over $4,000. We got her from a couple $100 to a much higher priced package, a much richer package, a much more valuable package. And we taught her how to pitch it the right way. Really, it's what to say and how to say it, so that she made a ton of sales, $4,000. More important, she's teaching these women something that is going to change so many lives. And what could be better than that? And you guys, what's better than helping someone change their life for the better and you get paid for it? It's the money's awesome. Nothing beats it when someone comes up to it. So I had dinner with a client a couple years ago in Vegas when I lived in Vegas. They were at one of my events and fear was stopping them from getting together. They got over their fear and they got married. And 15 years later, they're happily married. And they were telling me, like, thank you for contributing to our lives. Like, it's the best, right? So becoming a world-class speaker can do so much. Increase your confidence on and off stage, better relationships. You can choose who you want to work with. When you speak, you are positioned to kind of cherry pick clients. You get better clients. You get higher paying clients, and you make time for what's important to you, because you can close so many deals so fast. You make time for what's important to you, and you can turn every client into a lifelong client. What I've learned, so when we used to do the seminars back 05, 06, 07, we do a workshop, never see them again. But now we have people engaged in us for years, and we keep in touch for years with social media. And when you learn how to really serve your clients, there's always a way to serve them and help them to get to the next level, so that client can now become a lifelong client. So we talked about the speaker system, content times delivery times you. And we talked a little bit about you. So I have a question for you about you right now, like a real question for you. Here's my question for you. Is it your time? Is it time for huge revenue from speaking? Is it time to be comfortable on stage? Is it time to be confident? Is it time to be excited about your next presentation? Is it time to own the room? Is it time to be the person people can't wait to see? Literally, I can tell you this, Betsy. Literally, I had a call today with a woman who's seen me speak at an event that I would speak at yearly. And they sold the company, the one I told you about, they sold that company. So I'm not on that stage anymore. And she was just telling me today what a bummer it is not to see me there. And So we have a call to talk about some of the events I have coming up. And you guys, it's just so cool when people get to know you and they want to see you over and over. You become what we call an in-demand speaker. So is it time to master the art of storytelling? Is it time to be funny? Is it time for your message to be heard? Is it time for you to make a difference in the world? And is it time to bring out the best of you? If you can say yes to these, if you can say that you're ready to grow your business from speaking, then you are in the right place. Are you ready to grow your business for speaking? Are you ready to make money? Are you ready to make an impact? Then your time is now. So I mentioned already that the World Class Speaker Academy has these live events: dynamic speaker training, course script, Be Funny, Make Money, profitable presentations live, dynamic life, black belt speaker training. So we do all of these, and with COVID and with the virtual training becomes such an integral part, and with wanting to touch more lives and make it more economical and easier, here's what I'm super excited to announce is World Class Speaker Coaching. And World Class Speaker Coaching is our new coaching program where I have been recording and crafting and creating a whole bunch of study at your own pace trainings that we're hosting online. So we're putting trainings online that you can watch and fill out, like templates and forms we're creating, so that you can write your presentation from home. We have training on there about how to be great on stage. We filmed Be Funny, Make Money. We're putting that up on there. Then we have trainings about how to bring out the best you, such as meditations to do before you speak, guided imagery, the processes I go through every time I speak on stage so that I rock that stage so that you can be more confident. We're putting all of this online in a membership portal so you can study and take it all in at your own pace. And then to make even more impact and make it more valuable for you, we're doing weekly coaching calls. So on the weekly coaching calls, you get to get on a call with me and pick my brain, ask me anything you want about what's going on. We'll have times where we do writing workshops and we'll be writing your presentation together. I'm going to be teaching and creating some of my newest stuff. And then as we're building out the coaching, what we're going to do is more Zooms where I'm going to be recording it to make product, and I'll do a training. And then at the end, you can ask Q&A and get like super access to me so that your speaking goes off the chart. So this is really taking like the best of all the live trainings and putting it in a portal so that you can get it online, combined with group coaching with me, where you get to talk to me one-on-one through the group coaching. So here's how you can get involved with this. Right now, go to callwithjase.com. I've opened up my calendar for you. Jess, Betsy, will you please check it out? If you go to callwithjase.com right now, you'll see when I'm available next week. And it'll show you, or not next week, it'll just show you the next availability of my camera and my schedule, and you get to book a one-on-one call with us. And what'll happen is you and I will sit down and make sure it's a fit for you, make sure it's a financial fit for you, make sure it's viable for your company to grow, make sure your heart's in the right place, make sure that you're willing to do what it takes, answer any question you have, and get you set up for super success with world-class speaker coaching. So just go to callwithjase.com. You can book an appointment right into my calendar. And I'm going to do something I've never done before. You can also text me. You could just text me at my phone number, and we'll get in touch and set a time to talk together. My phone number is 702-542-5810. Part of the reason I wanted to put my cell phone number on here is I was inspired by this guy I saw doing this huge book launch, and he literally put his cell phone number on there and said, hey, text me. I want conceptually, contextually, and symbolically to let you know that we and I are here for you. Like, I want to take an active role and be a participant in your success. And we're here for you. There's not some big barrier to contact. There's my phone number. You can text anytime you want. I put my phone on do not disturb at night. So Betsy started laughing. So you can text whatever you want. And to schedule a one-on-one call where we can sit down and go through everything together, go to callwithjase.com. So I'm going to answer questions in a moment. I want to share with you a couple other success stories. So this is Jen. She came through our programs. She now knows how to prepare for a speaking event. I'm more confident as a speaker and more confident in the rest of my life, which has led to me meeting Chuck, the love of my life. Right there by itself. That's just, I don't got to say anything else, right? Jen becomes more confident. She meets the love of her life. Like, what would that be worth? We can't guarantee that you will meet the love of your life, nor that you will turn the spouse you're currently with into the, okay. So, but you got my point, right? So, she also said this though, I'm not doing more presentations, but I am doing better presentations. Last month at my BNI, that's like her networking group, 10-minute presentation, everyone in the room was in tears in a good way. Like, she learned how to move their heart. And then she said, last month I did enrollment for 25 people. So Jen sells Aflac. So what she does is a presentation, as she goes into the business, and she does a presentation to all the team members of that business to see about rolling them into Aflac. So if you have a similar type of offering, whether you're a coach, whether you're a business owner or service provider, there's a way to get in front of your ideal audience and make presentations. So she did enrollment for 25 people. In the past, that would have been 10 to 12,000 in sales. And this time she did 24,000 in sales. She doubled an extra $12,000 from one presentation. And is she just doing one presentation a year, or is she probably doing at least 10 a year? So if she could double her revenue from 10 presentations a year, what's it worth for her, right? And she's not going to be in business just 1 year. She's going to be in business 5, 10, 20 years. So let's just suppose she just makes an extra 12,000 a year for the next 10 years. That's 120,000 bucks. But if she could double that close rate over and over and over, we're talking about $1 million difference or multi-million-dollar difference. So if you want to have similar success or learn what she learned, simply just go to callwithjase.com right now. That's callwithjase.com. By the way, I'm going to show this one, then I'm going to open it up and start answering questions and show some more case studies. So we have a coaching program called Black Belt, and we're modeling world-class speaker coaching off of Black Belt with a lot more stuff hosted online. And on one of our Black Belt calls, the most interesting thing happened. Everybody you see that has a circle around them just had their biggest year ever. Almost 100% of our members had their biggest year ever. And the reason it's not 100% is a couple of people weren't focused on growing a business. They were more focused on their personal growth. And I think they had their biggest year of growth ever. So just go to callwithjase.com. That's callwithjase.com. Let me open it up. Let me see if we have any questions. Let me read some. We had a whole bunch of comments come in while I was on there. So people said where they get 40 years casino showroom. Let's see if we have questions. We have the new normal. Yes, we are. Awesome. Fantastic. Dean's out there chatting for us. Do we have any questions from Facebook, Betsy? And Marianne, I think you had your hand up. Marianne, can you put your question in the chat for me? Type it down there and I'll put it. No questions on Facebook right now? All right, great. Cool. So I want to show you guys a couple more. So what I'm going to do now, if you got all the training you want, if you're in, just go to callwithjase.com. It's not rude of you to stop watching. You can keep me open another window. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just show you some more case studies, and I'm going to just keep encouraging you to book a call with me at callwithjase.com, or you can text me 702-542-5810. So let me do a little bit more case studies, just in case that wasn't enough for you. Do some more case studies. So there's callwithjase.com. This is Blaze Grisano. So Blaze came through one of our trainings back in 2016. So I saw him the following year at the very beginning of 2017. I said, Blaze, what's happening? He says, I built better relationships with the audience. I'm asked to come back and speak again and again. I went from 18 presentations in 2015 to 60 in 2016. 18 to 60. Gross monthly income changed from 36,000 to 63,000. Says if you're considering working with Jase, you should know it is about a lot more than being a better speaker. It's about being a better you from the inside out and getting to know and like yourself a whole lot more. That's awesome, isn't it, you guys? I mean, by itself, hopefully that would be convincing for someone. Now, he came through in 2016. He gave me this report at the beginning of 2017, and then I saw him again at the beginning of 2019. So I said, Blaze, what's happening now? More requests to speak. They're asking us for presentations. They're asking us to do interviews and Facebook Live. So what that means is his ideal client is asking him to speak to them, i.e. free marketing. We scheduled to do 30 presentations in March alone. Obviously, this was early 2019 before COVID, right? We're scheduled to do 30 presentations in March alone. We've doubled our revenue since our training, Jase's training, from 415,000 to 893 annually, and I think they broke $1 million since then. So, did I go too fast? I want to let that number sit up there a little longer. Just marinate that, right? So, but you guys, the training works. And if you notice, I have these testimonials going back years because it's really cool. We're in touch with these people over years and we follow up and we keep up. Why are they willing to keep up with us? Because they like what we're doing and they like being a part of our community. So, callwithjase.com. Just go jump on callwithjase.com. This is Laura Castleman, CEO of JV Zoo. They facilitate something like 500 million in transactions per month. She says, Jase is amazing at big ticket. If you want to take your sales to the next level, he's the guy to talk to. This is Matt Basak. Now, Matt comes from the world of internet marketing. He's got his own way of talking. And Matt said, dude, you've made me so many effing sales. But I don't think he abbreviated it. If you know Matt, I just love this guy. He's amazing. And he's one of the top internet marketers out there, and helped him with one of his presentations. Talk about another internet marketer. This is Nick James. Jase helped us with our marketing message. We're seeing the highest double-digit conversion rates we've ever had, giving us insights, tips, suggestions we've never considered. Top product leaderboards, here we come. Then I texted him. I said, hey, what's happening? And he said, if anyone asks what kind of double-digit conversion rates, see the post. It's converting really well. Now, what I didn't mention is Nick is English. So this is like, this is doing really well means like out of his head expressive, because you know how restrained the English are. So, I'm not sure that sounded like Nick exactly, but you get the point. This is Sarah. Sarah's a black belt. She said, before attending Jase's trainings in August 2018, we'd scheduled 8 presentations in 7 months. We had trouble getting presentations, more trouble converting or creating presentations that would convert. Jase's training community he creates empowered us to be smarter and more authentic in our delivery, has changed the way we approach people. Isn't that awesome? By the way, community is a huge part of what we're doing. We have polled people and found that one of the most important parts, I'm going to stop the share for a second when I talk about this, then I'll come back to her. One of the most important parts of your success will be your support system, the community you have around you. And I don't mean just the people that work for you. I mean the people that call you to be your greatness and then encourage you to be your greatness, and the people you can call up when you feel stuck, and people who look you in the eye and say, you can do it and you're amazing. And that's what we built, and that's what we're building. So if you want to be a part of a community like that, book at callwithjase.com. If that's not you, you don't book. If it is you, then book for sure. We're looking for people like you who want to be someone who changes the world and wants to help encourage others to change the world, and eventually to help train others to change the world. So let's jump back into this. She says, more authentic our delivery, change the way we approach people. So Jase's training community helps us be more authentic in our delivery, change the way we approach people. In the first 2 months of the year, we've already presented 7 times and have 2 more scheduled. Is that cool or what? So she goes through the training and they go from 8 presentations in 7 months to 7 times in 2 months with 2 more scheduled. Callwithjase.com, callwithjase.com. Or text me, 702-542-5810. This is Hank. And Hank, the way you communicate is more than just what you say, it's what you do with your body. And so we worked a lot with Hank on his physical presence, because he could be intimidating, and we had to bring out of him this joy. Like his smile was amazing, but he wasn't using it. So Hank says, more importantly, my relationship with my wife is better. We're redoing our vows. I attended in August 2018, and September through December, we're up 50,000 over the previous year, over 20. So in other words, he attended in August, and August through December of 2018, they made 50,000 more than they did September through December of the previous year. And then he also says, I'm smiling a lot more now. This is Phil. He learned how to tell stories, and a realtor gave him this card after one of his presentations. You probably can't read it, so I'll read it for you. It says, great meeting you. Your life story was interesting. I look forward to building a business relationship with you and developing a win-win. See you next Tuesday, 10 a.m. He says, we booked 2 speaking engagements for next week. Been speaking every week since last class. He means the class that he attended with us. Sounds crazy, but they asked me to speak an additional half hour. They all committed to working with us. That's when you know you're rocking as a speaker. They say, take all the time you want. They all committed to working with us. What could that be for your business if you spoke and everyone there committed to work with you? This is Damon. He's much more easy in front of groups. He trained his marketing rep to do better presentations, grew by a little over 90,000 in revenue in the last year. So callwithjase.com, call with Jase. This is Christy. Says, Jase's event has changed my life majorly. It gave me the tools I needed to be more confident. And in case this hasn't landed for you, our work is on what you say, how you deliver, and then your heart. And that's what they're referring to here, is she got a breakthrough. All of our events have a breakthrough component to it. And at One World-Class Speaker Coaching, I mentioned it online. I'll stop my share for a second so you guys can see me say this too. I mentioned that it's online and that there's live coaching calls. One of the things I was holding back to mention as a bonus, but you'll get to hear it here because you're sticking around. When you sign up for World-Class Speaker Coaching, you're also going to get 2 tickets to one of our live events. Which event? Well, it depends on when we're allowed to start doing events again. But you're going to get a ticket to one of our life-changing events where you learn more about scripting, delivery, and you, where you're going to get way better at scripting, way better at delivery, and then have heart change to make breakthroughs to be the best you that you could be. So let's go back to Christy. So to change her event life majorly, gave her the tools he needed, helped me and my parents to reach our goal of being $1 million company. You guys rock. Callwithjase.com. And then here is, so over here is Sarah. You already heard from her. On the left is Sarah's mom, Jeannie. So Jeannie said, I don't know why they're taking a picture with our banner instead of us. Actually, we posted it. We thought it was kind of funny. So she says it's much more than learning effective presentation skills. It's learning how to be a more effective person on all levels in your life, which, oh, by the way, will help you grow your business, your relationships, and your life. Whether it's one-to-one or one-to-many, I now have the confidence to implement these tools and connect with my clients, my team, family, and friends on a more personal, authentic level. Is that important to you? To have the tools and confidence to connect better with the people that are important to you and to grow your life in all areas. So that's World-Class Speaker Academies, World-Class Speaker Coaching. A couple more. This is Bob Heinz. Prior to the training, he's introverted, wanted nothing to do with speaking. Our training gave him the confidence through scripting and practice, he could accomplish anything. He says, my self-esteem improved both personally and professionally. My ability to communicate with groups and one-on-one vastly improved as well. He also said, as a result, opportunities to present have increased exponentially. His business has improved 85% in the 3 years since the training, from 578,000 to 1 million. And I believe they've gone up more since then. And so you notice we have people who were already doing hundreds of thousands that have now topped the million. We also had people like Ayelet who were selling like a $200 course that did a $4,000 in sales. So whatever level you're at, the tools to get you the next level of business growth are the same when it comes to speaking. So whatever level you are as speaking that wants you speaking for your business, we have the right tools for you. Callwithjase.com is how you get started with it. I mentioned a couple $100 programs. Andrea teaches realtors how to be safe. And she was putting together like $200 trainings that a realtor's office would pay her like $200. She got into our trainings. She got her value. She got her confidence up. She put together a $6,600 program. Nice. This is Rob Michelle. We worked with them on their scripting. I worked with them, their scripting delivery. And they put up this post on Facebook. It says, Rob and I spoke for an hour at our conference. Thank you, Jase, for all your help. We couldn't have crushed it. They got a standing ovation. They had people like crying tears of like being touched and moved by their presentation. And here's what I love more than when someone sends me a testimonial. Here's what I love is when that person's audience sends them a testimonial. Let me show you what I mean. So Greg wrote, both of you really inspired the conference. Both of you were fantastic and inspiring. Jennifer Pappas. You were both great. Thanks for being part of our life, Michelle Perry. That's the favorite thing for me when my clients get rave reviews like this. So this was February. You can see up here, it says February 26th. So then Rob wrote me, this is back in 2015. A month later, he said, just wanted to let you know what a great impact you've been on our business. Since helping us fine tune our message and perfect our delivery, we've been rocking presentations. I want to thank you for giving us the confidence we can do this in a big way. We'll do about 130,000 for the month, a record for March. By the way, they're way past that now. So if you want the same results, I can't guarantee it, but I can guarantee you even better training because we have really dialed in the training in the last 5 years, and it's so much better. Go to callwithjase.com. So here's Tom Bartholetti, Inspection Services Group. He put this on Facebook after a recent presentation, originally geared to buyers, but because no one showed up, he presented to the agents. And that's a pro. Speak when you can speak. Even if no one's in the room, 2 people in the room, 4 people in the room. Practice with 4 so you get great with 400. He said he sent out a thank you follow-up email to the host that invited us, and this is her reply. I loved it. It was one of the best presentations I've ever seen. So excited to start using you guys. Thank you again. Thanks, Jase, for the tips on scripting, introductions, presentation itself. Can't wait for more. What he also told me, everyone in there committed to use them as their vendor of choice. So another thing he posted. So today I did a presentation, ready to rock it with my new vision of positivity. Went awesome. They wanted me to continue even though we ran 30 minutes longer. Invited us back. Video the entire presentation, said they'll post it to their team YouTube channel for others in their office that didn't make it. We were told it's the best presentation they saw in a long time and said, we come back, we need a bigger room because many others will want to attend. And Tom told me one of these offices said, we're all using you. They all committed to him. He has more confidence in how he presents by using the tools. The audience is more engaged. He's been told multiple times it was the best presentations they've heard, and a few occasions booked inspections on the spot. It's a way to a better self that's projected. Also, he knows that every agent that works with him on average is worth $8,000 for the lifetime of the client. And that's something you need to know. How valuable is a client on average over the lifetime of the client? So if he can pick up 4 new realtors from one presentation, that's $32,000 in expected revenue for his business in the next X amount of years. So if he can do that over and over and over, he's going to hit his biggest numbers ever. Here's Tammy Murphy. Tammy says, for a long time, I needed to speak, but I've been afraid to ever consider doing it. We attended Jase's dynamic speaker training and then went to Dynamic Life. Here's so many of our fears were addressed and tackled. It was scary and intense, but worth it. Dynamic Life is this. It's the event we do every January. The last few times we spoke, the audience was incredibly responsive. One of the members of the audience even wanted to sponsor us to do the same presentation for the entire Realtor Association. Like I said, you walk one stage, you got more. She rocks one stage. Someone wants to pay for her to speak to her ideal clients. Great. It's a total game changer. I wish everyone I know could attend. Thank you, Tammy. And then this is Judy. Your training, the format you created, allowed our team with no previous speaker training to create and deliver a presentation that wowed the crowd and brought them to a level we never could have before. Yeah, we had a major office tell us we're now their new favorite provider. We are their new favorite provider of choice. Because it's a science and it's a system to be successful with speaking, and you can learn it. This is Mark Wall. He says that it enabled him to up his game doing presentations. He's used those to increase our revenue and number of inspections exponentially based on the response, and the revenue of our company increased exponentially. Realtors never work with began using us as their go-to company. Now, you notice I have a lot of home inspectors. That big stage I told you about was a group of home inspectors. That's why we have so many. Since then, I'm not on that stage, and what we found is people with brick and mortar businesses are helped. People who, like, what they do is they speak in front of realtors to get referrals. They're helped through speaking. And then coaches, authors, thought leaders are massively impacted through speaking because they can sell their coaching programs and help so many people at once. And then this is Isaac. Tammy is Isaac's mom. When Tammy and his dad, Levain, got back from my event, Isaac saw something different in his dad. He's like, what's different about you? And they said, we went to Jase's course. He said, I'm going. So Isaac came to our course, and here's what he said. I'm now part of a networking group, get a chance to speak at 2 different times. I was not confident in speaking, but I had to do it. The first time I spoke, no good responses. Then the second time I spoke, after dynamic speaker training, one of our events, I not only connected with the group, but had their rapt attention. Yeah. One person said my story moved her. A guy wanted to refer his elderly mom to me, and one of the members said to the speaker after me, okay, Jeremy, how are you going to follow that? How awesome is that? And he also shared with me from speaking twice, getting the response, his volumes, how effective the program is. But here's what he also just told me recently. In 1 year of working with us, he doubled his revenues. He cracked 6 figures. He doubled his revenues and cracked 6 figures as a chiropractor because he's using public presentation. To double his revenue in 1 year, over 6 figures. So callwithjase.com. That's callwithjase.com. Call with Jase, or no, forget that. Just callwithjase.com. So I'm going to stop the share. And you guys can text me if you want, 702-542-5810. And it has been awesome to be with you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for thinking about what we're up to and what we're doing. If you have any questions, go to callwithjase.com to book a session with me, or just text me, 702-542-5810. And thanks for being a part of this. This is our official kickoff announcement that World Class Speaker Coaching, our new online coaching program, where you're going to learn scripting, delivery, mindset, combined with group coaching calls. We're launching it out now. We have special pre-release pricing and bonuses galore. So when you call, to be clear, we're having a sales conversation, but really it's going to be a conversation to see if this fits, if it will really help you, if you will help it, and if you are fit for it. So we'll make it work. I love you guys. Thanks for being here. Let me see if I have any other questions. Dean says, not see my screen. Oh, thanks, Dean. I didn't realize that. Thank you for the heads up. I think it's because Zoom was kind of geeking up on me. Someone said, I'm at the beginning of launching a new business. I know that I want to use speaking to grow, but how far along do I need to be before I connect with you? Don, I would say, and this isn't sales talk, this is what I would really say, connect right away. And the reason why is nothing will grow a business faster than public presentations. So why wouldn't you use it? Plus, part of our training, so remember I talked about this compelling content, dynamic delivery, and you. Part of getting you more effective is teaching you one-to-one sales. So in world-class speaker coaching, I've taken all of my home study courses on one-to-one sales, which is really one-to-one communication. And that's all available and included in the world-class speaker coaching system. So there's language patterns for success, personality types, body language, the system on sales I created. And all sales is really elegant, high class, and high quality communication. So whatever business you're launching into, Don, I don't know what it is. It will help you be better communicator across the board, which will help you develop a better team, which will help you get more people on board with you, which will help people be more excited to work with you, which will help you negotiate better with vendors and create better win-wins, etc. So I would say the sooner, the better, Don. And it's great we know each other from our mission trip. So cool to have you on here. Let me see if I have anything on Facebook. Any questions on Facebook? Are you looking at all the different places we shot it out to on Facebook? Like I didn't know? Because I let me see if I got it. So guys, thanks for tuning in. Any other questions? Just go to callwithjase.com or text me, 702-542-5810. Dean's on. Thanks, Dean, for all the comments. Harold popped by. Hey, good to see you, Harold. You guys, I wasn't watching Facebook, so if I didn't shout you out, that's why. And Dean said that he couldn't see my screen. Well, that's a bummer. Do you know when it went away? When did my screen sharing go away? You know?
I was able to see it on my end. It was probably whenever I jumped in.
I think it works. So I'll just show you guys so you know they're real. This was Hank. I'm not going to read them all again. I'm just going to go fast through them. This is Hank who learned to smile, and he increased his revenue by 50,000. And since then, his revenue's gone way up as well. This is Phil who learned to tell stories, and the realtor wrote him that awesome letter. This is Damon who trained his marketing rep, grew by 90 grand. Here is Christy Orlando who said it changed her major league, gave her confidence to hit $1 million. This is Call with Jase. Here is Jeannie on the left. I went too fast. Sarah, her daughter, on the right. By the way, I love it when parents bring their kids. It's such a compliment. Here is Bob Heitz from Waypoint, who became a $1 million company. Here is Andy, who I told you about, who teaches realtors how to be safe, and she did a $6,600 contract. Here's Rob and Michelle I was telling you about, where the audience members said that you guys were so great and inspired the conference. Here is the email that he sent where he said they had their biggest month ever, and they've been growing and growing since then. And talk about speaking gigs leading speaking gigs. They flew me out to Maryland a couple of years ago, and I did a speaking gig, and then we went to a Redskins game together. And then Call with Jase. Here's Tom Bartholomew. I was telling you about how posted on Facebook about he rocked it. They said he is now their provider of choice. Tammy and her husband Levain, who said it just gave her so much more confidence. People want to sponsor them. Here is Judy Schwartz, who said that her team has just been invited over back, and they're now the provider of choice. And they had no prior speaking gig. Here's Mark, who said his revenues and impact is going up. Here is Isaac, who is the chiropractor I was telling you about, who doubled his revenue and did it in only 1 year in the speaking, using public speaking. So over 6 figures now. So that's it, you guys. Call with Jase. Just go to callwithjase.com. And I love you guys. Thanks for being on. Here's to your future. Here's the impact you're going to make. The world needs you. The world is calling for you. It's your time. Does anyone, any other questions we have out there, Betsy? Anything else I should be answering? Anything else coming in on the intertubes from this? Napa was quiet the entire time. Did you hear him just hack? You know, you're right there. I guess it's time to take Napa for you know what. Anyone else? Any questions before we go? We're about to wrap it up. Anyone on Facebook? You guys, thanks for tuning in. Also, I have a request. If you have someone that you know that would be a good fit for this, please pass on this video, tag them in it, share it, or text them, whatever it is. Just get them in touch with us. We are really going to do some really special stuff. 2 people that I see that are still in the Zoom, you guys are a black belt. You guys are getting this for free because you're already in black belt. I always take care of people that work with me, so you guys will be getting this as well. Yeah. Anything else that we've got going on? All right, well, I'm going to end with this. It's one of my favorite things I've been reading lately. It's from Stephen Pressfield, and he wrote The Legend of Bagger Vance, and he wrote a book called The War of Art, and I highly, highly, highly recommend you get it if you are any kind of speaker or entrepreneur who considers themselves a creative in any way, because I think you are. Marianne said, "Thank you, Jase. Brilliant, lovely presentation." Thank you, Marianne. So here's a quote from his book, The War Bard. Are you a born writer? Were you put on earth to be a painter, a scientist, or an apostle of peace? And the question can only be answered in the end. The question can only be answered by action. Do it or don't do it. It may help to think of it this way. If you are meant to cure cancer, or write a symphony, or crack cold fusion, and you don't do it, you not only hurt yourself, even destroy yourself. You hurt your children, you hurt me, you hurt the planet. You shame the angels who watch over you, and you spite the Almighty who created you, and only you, with your unique gifts, for the sole purpose of nudging the human race 1 millimeter further along its path back to God. Creative work is not a selfish act or a bid for attention on the part of the actor. It's a gift to the world and every being in it. Don't cheat us of your contribution. Give us what you've got. It's Jase. I love you guys. God loves you. You were born to make a difference, to make a lot of money, to make the impact that only you can make. And we're excited to help you do it. Talk to you soon.